This Viking died in battle, but legends say he came back. Some odes end with death. Eyvind's began with it. They buried him as a hero. The forest gave him back as a curse. When the king died, his most loyal warrior refused to rest in peace. A Viking warrior who died twice. What? That doesn't sound possible, does it? Well, buckle up, because that's exactly what happened to Eyvind Skinnifer. And if that doesn't sound like a real Viking name, well, it isn't. It's actually a pen name used by Danish author Michael Seahall. But for the sake of this story, let's just call him Eyvind. Eyvind was a member of the Varangian Guard, an elite military force composed of Scandinavian mercenaries hired by the Byzantine Empire to protect the emperor and defend the realm. We know about Eyvind thanks to his own first-hand account of his adventures, which he wrote in a letter addressed to his contemporary, King Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark. If you're wondering why he was writing to a king instead of, say, his family, it's because Eyvind was looking for a new gig. He wanted to go home and become a member of Sweyn's royal court. So he was basically applying for a job with the one guy who could hire him. And to make sure he got the position, he embellished the truth a little bit. You see, in order to get the most out of his royal grift, Eyvind needed to seem very, very impressive. So he told Sweyn that he was a great hero who had fought all over Europe and even in the Middle East. And he had the receipts to back up his claims. Receipts in this case being the many scars covering his body. According to Eyvind, these scars were the result of him being mortally wounded not once but twice in battle. Now, you may be thinking that if Eyvind was dead, he wouldn't be able to write a letter asking for a job. And you wouldn't be wrong. But Eyvind had a solution for that little plot hole. He explained that after his first brush with death, he made a pact with God that if he survived, he would go on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and on his way, he would visit every church and monastery he could find. In exchange, the monks at these holy sites gave him food and shelter. So really, he was just a charitable man who happened to have a taste for mortal danger. After making this bargain, he said that he recovered from his mortal wounds and went on to live a normal Viking life, getting married, having kids, raiding monasteries. You know, the usual. But then he was mortally wounded again, and when he found himself between life and death once more, he made another deal with God. This time he promised to become a Christian if he was allowed to live. Obviously, God accepted his offer and Eyvind survived. He then completed his second pilgrimage, visited more churches and monasteries, and, well, here we are. Now, there's a few problems with this story. First, historians have been unable to confirm any of Eyvind's claims of valor. He may have fought in the wars he mentioned, but there's no historical evidence to support his claim that he was a great hero. In fact, there's barely any evidence of him at all. He might as well have made the whole thing up. Second, there's the small matter of Eyvind's alleged death. As far as we can tell, he never died. He simply went missing after writing this letter. Some historians think he might have perished on a later Varangian campaign, but that's pure speculation. But perhaps the greatest problem with Eyvind's story is that none of it really matters. You see, whether or not he died twice, became a Christian, or fought alongside the Byzantines, he didn't get the one thing he really wanted, a job from King Sweyn. The two men met up shortly after Eyvind sent his letter, but Eyvind was never invited to join the royal court. Instead, he was given a noble title and a small plot of land and told to go home and mind his own business. So, despite dying twice, becoming a Christian and fighting in the Byzantine Empire, all so that he could impress a king, Eyvind ended up right back where he started, in Denmark, doing whatever minor nobles did back then. And maybe that's a lesson for us all. No matter how big your dreams are, you might end up right back where you started. Or maybe that's not a lesson and I should just stick to making fun of Vikings. Either way, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching.